the Holy Roman Empire was what he's referring to, Barroso. And this is the 10th head or 7th in the group of 7 being filmed now. So after the fall of Rome, there's to be 10 resurrections. So where'd the 10 come from? Well, the small horn took out the first 3. That was the Heruli, the Vandals, and the Ostrogoths. The Heruli, Vandals, and Ostrogoths. There's the first 3 kingdoms taken out. The Vandals are in North Africa, and the other 2 ruled Italy. And the Pope appealed to Justinian, who became the 4th head. So there's 4, Justinian. And he sent his very able general Belisarius, who British Army and various people looks at his strategies, very, very good, brilliant. And I was talking to a man the other day who was a brigadier in the British Army, and he referred to him. I said, well, you must be the only man out of 100,000 people who seem to know about Belisarius. And he said, no, we use it. So I said, okay, well, that's fine. So then, there we are, you had Justinian, that's the 4th head. And then you got the Pope appealed to Pippin. Pippin died, who was Charlemagne's father, and Charlemagne became the next head. There's your 5th head. And he went off in his conquering spree. He must have been the worst ruler on the planet, because he'd go into an area and they'd rebel a couple of years later, and then he'd go in again and they'd rebel again, and then he'd go in again and rebel. But this was going all over in his empire. People were dying rather than living under his rulership. It was so appalling. He was an absolute thug. And this is the spirit that these Barroso and these people are calling on. And they go to that cathedral. Then, of course, we go on to the next head, which, of course, was Charles V. And that was a very powerful family who ruled Spain, and they ruled South America ultimately, and they became very powerful. And Charles V. And that was the Habsburg group. And then the next one who came was Napoleon Bonaparte. And Napoleon was a very powerful individual who crowned himself. He captured the Pope, put him in Avignon, and took him for the crowning of him, the Holy Roman Empire. And then the very last one, the very next one, was Hitler. And Hitler, of course, was this thug, absolute murderous thug, who went off and conquered everyone. So all these empires, as they call them. This man, he says, he calls it an empire. And, Barroso was passionate mayor steward. He was a passionate mayor steward. That's what, not what I said. That's what Hanan called him it was actually Farage. Nigel Farage called him to his face. And there was pictures of him on the internet here, being that and doing that, and that's what it was called. And he, in actual fact, this is when Nigel Farage audited the commission. He told everybody what they were, and they weren't very nice people. Some of them had been in for fraud, etc. Some of them had been nearly into prison or been into prison. And this is your commission. This is your commission. This is the people who are ruling by rote on behalf of a European wealthy elite, the bankers. So they're ruling through this commission who have a rubber stamp called the European Parliament, who they just rubber stamp these rules and regulations, these laws, because they don't have time to read them. The book arrives in their desks that every day, that thick. Who can read them? Very badly written. So I mean, some of them are written in foreign languages. So certainly our representatives can't do it. And somebody asking one of our MEPs said, "Well, how did you vote on this?" I said, "Oh, well, we just asked those people." And they said it's a good idea. So that's how we're getting our 200,000 laws in this country that our MPs have winged through. I mean, this is absolute corruption and craziness. Isn't this sort of unrepresentative lawmaking what caused the revolt in America against the British system under George III? What are they trying to do? And then Barroso warned Poland, that he'd join or agree or else, so they did. And various men like Van Buiten, every time he brings up the corruption, he's called all sorts of things, and he's this or he's that, and you'll find that in all these situations, suddenly people are mad if they oppose the climate change or something like that because it's not there. But they call them mad. They call them mad if they don't want to become part of the European Union, which is so corrupt that 95% of the the budget is apparently unaccounted for, missing ... stolen question mark, as far as I put it. And that's going on for 14 years. This country sends 40 million a day. That's 196 over 14 years, 196 billion, 14 billion a year. Now they've just given them more. Why not get the 95% sorted out, which seems to be missing? But worse than that, the whole of the member states are 27, and they seem to be missing all the total budget of trillions when you add all that lot up. What am I talking about? I'm talking about an empire that we don't want to be part of, which has been tried, well, 7 times, and then and it's failed on every occasion, and every occasion it's ended up in grief, or it was grief from the beginning, because it was all conquest. This one, the final one, as your Bible says, will be formed in peace, and people automatically give their power to a central authority. Isn't that exactly what our friend Barroso has just said on that video? Ladies and gentlemen, this is prophecy in action. This is the 10th head or the 7th head of the 7. It's the 10th head of the 10th, which I've already given all those participants to you, but it's the 7th head after the first 3 had fallen. And right now, we are part of this nightmare, which is going to entail a world war. They're going to attack the Middle East. It's all there. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to go. My time is out. But I'd urge you to have a look at this website up here. It will have, if it doesn't have now, it will have all this information on shortly. Thank you very much for listening.